Hello guys, this is FZR, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to change your motorcycle tires, how to change the brake discs, and hope you enjoy it. This is a power walkthrough in the tire change shop, so hope you enjoy. Let's stay tuned and keep watching. First we started with the front wheel to change its tire. Then we have removed the old tire off the rim. We removed the old valve stem, and basically we just installed a new valve stem. It's a metal valve stem at 90 degrees to make it easier to inflate the tire once everything is put all back together. After which we have moved to the rear wheel. Same procedure was performed over here, removing the old valve stem and installing a new metal valve stem at 90 degrees for easy access to inflate the tires. A nice amount of lubricant is needed to be applied on the tire and also on the rim itself to ease up the installation of the tires on the rims.
Okay, so now we just have to undo the bolts on the rear brake disc and wheel, metric 8, 20 newtons. Right over here, 20 newtons.
Now we just need to start undoing the 6 bolts which hold on the brake disc to the rim itself. We do that using a 6mm hex bit. Once all the 6 bolts are undone, you need to consider that the holes for the bolts and also the bolts need cleaning. You will clean the bolt holes with a thread tap, and you can clean the bolts with a wire brush. Also clean the surface where the brake disc sits on the rim. Okay, now the next step is to take the thread tappet, which is a metric 8 times 1.25. You clean the threaded holes, and also you clean by wire brushing the bolts themselves. Be sure to have medium or high strength Loctite at your hands so that you properly coat the bolts themselves with the thread locker. You do not need to apply very much, but you do not need to apply very little. Now, from my experience, it's best that you cross bolt each, cross tighten each bolt. But at first you start by hand to fill the bolts if they go in easily. If they do not go in easily, then you need to check what's wrong. Is it either the bolt or is it the hole itself which has the thread cross-threaded or something like that. So you tighten in them by hand. You use the thread locker for each one of them, and then we need to get ourselves the torque wrench. The torque wrench needs to be set at 20 Newton meters. Each torque wrench has a variation tolerance, so it's best that you torque them to 15 Newton meters and then to torque them to 20, but in this case I've started directly to 20 newtons because my torque wrench is almost brand new and it's properly configured and set up. Now we move ourselves to the front wheel. The front wheel, the procedure for changing the brake discs is the same. You do not have anything else which is different or new in the equation of all components. Again, undo the bolts, check the threads on the bolts. After you have all the bolts off the wheel itself, you will have to check the threads, clean the threads with a wire brush, and also you need to check the holes. Right now, instead of 6 holes you have 12 holes which need cleaning. They need to get their threads cleaned. You do that using the metric 8 times 125 thread tap. After that, you will clean with a wire brush the mating surface of the brake disc with the wheel itself, with the rim. Basically, you just need to clean the face of the wheel. Also, what I need to mention is that after you install the brake discs, you do need to clean them off with brake cleaner. You need to clean them off thoroughly, and do not clean them just with a 1 or 2 wipes. You need to clean them properly, because if you will leave some grease on the brake discs, you will contaminate the brake pads and you will not have the braking performance which you are looking for. In my opinion, this covers the brake disc replacement procedure, and right now we can just proceed to balancing the front and rear wheels. Okay, so we've installed the new brake discs, we have properly cleaned everything, we have also added thread locker to the bolts themselves. All is okay. Now the jig for the balancing of the wheels needs to be as well level as possible, and yeah, you do not want to have it crooked or something like that, so take your time and level it as best as you can. If you cannot level it, then try going somewhere else and see if it levels up over there. In my case, I've tried a couple of locations in the garage because there's a sink in the middle, and well, it's good enough right now. So you take the jig of the balancing jig has a spindle, an axe of its own for the roller blades. So on one side it has a cone, you have it fixed to the axe itself, and on the other side you will set up the cone to press against the wheel bearings tightly, and then you secure it in place by turning in the Allen key, the hex key. Okay, so now you take your balancing weights, and the heaviest part of the wheel goes always down on the bottom side. You would like to start with masking tape, put the weights in position, and then spin the wheel. See how it behaves. Always the heaviest portion of the wheel will go always down. So in this case, as you can see over here, we don't have enough weight, so we add some more weights. Basically, if you were to start, let's say with 50 grams, you would split it on both sides, left and right, in equal amounts. 25 grams on one side, 25 grams on the other side. Given the fact that the front wheel is, well, let's say 3.5 inches wide, it's not that wide, so you do not really need to split it, because the weight will not be that much offsetted. You do what you feel best is needed. Then after you play with the positions, you check to see if the wheel turns a bit, and you can see it turned over here. So we have some more fiddling to do with the weights themselves. The front wheel, in between these, the front and rear one, it took me the most to balance out. As you can see, I'm playing with weights, and it took me a bit of time to balance it out properly. Regardless, in the end, I was able to balance it properly and didn't have any issues whatsoever. Keep playing with it, roll it, rotate it, and take your time, take your precious time, because you do this every once in a while and it's a pain in the neck to take the wheel off, and it's much easier to properly balance it from the very beginning. Of course, this procedure can be time consuming, and in some cases it's a bit difficult, but trust me, it's not. Also, if you have a shop in your local vicinity which can balance your wheels out, you may just go there. It's not a problem. They balance the wheels very fast. You do not need to spend $80, $100 or $200 on the balancing jig itself. At the time when I bought the balancing jig, there was no shop equipped to balance wheels in my hometown, so I had to buy it and do the stuff myself. Well, one thing to mention is that you need to have the rim grease free. You need to take some rubbing alcohol, technical alcohol, and rub it against the rim itself and have it cleaned. Right now we proceed to the rear one, and you can see I've started by cleaning it. The other one was cleaned right from the very beginning. It wasn't difficult at all. So take a clean rag and clean it with alcohol, clean the rim with the alcohol on both sides. After you have cleaned it with alcohol, wipe off any debris or any gunk which might be present over there. You can see that the rear wheel takes its time to balance out without any weights on its own. So right now it's the heaviest part is on the bottom side. Given the fact that this rim is wider, 5.5 inches, I don't really remember. I think it's 4.5. I started by splitting the weights equally on the left and right side of the wheel. Also, another thing which is different compared to the front wheel is that on the one side you have the brake disc, on the other side you have the sprocket for the rear wheel, so the weights will eventually cancel themselves out in some cases. So yeah, you can complicate things as much as you want to, but in the end it's no need to overcomplicate things. Just to sum up everything, after you have used masking tape and you're pleased with where the weights are, you just take the masking tape off and glue the double-sided tape of the weights, and that's it.